Returns probably can't stay as high as they have
further
over the last
assets
few
bought
years.
at the right time.
Not only very much
Very
so,
much.
I think the argument from the biggest challenge is to find the right people.
Now, Goodman is a very large Australian company, a market cap of £5.3 billion. Can you tell me how the British firm fits into its global business?
I think the way to look at it globally, and maybe do it as employees, there are 1,000 employees across the globe, 500 in Europe and about 300 in the UK. So the UK business itself is really a combination of the old Arlington Business Park team, the Arlington Property Investment team, and now we then followed with the purchase of Aquila in November last year, which brought another major business park player into the fold, and early this year with the purchase of Rosemont, who are probably number 2 in UK logistics development. So that basically is the UK operation we brought together. So really in the UK we cover 3 areas: business parks, where we're clearly the market leader; logistics, where we're obviously trying to grow the business and probably at number 2 at the moment; and property investment, in terms of what was Arlington Property Investment has now been renamed Goodman Property Investment.
You mentioned those 3 distinct business lines. Can you tell me which one of those do you expect to perform best over the next year or so here in the UK?
The UK business park business is a very established business. The asset value of the fund is just about £2 billion now. There is a big land bank in there. There will be there will be development going forward, and we can grow it to $4 billion or so just with the existing land bank. So very important business, but it's kind of set. We know where we are. We know we're a major player in that business. The UK logistics business, we have. Rosemont was a developer, a trader developer. We are now trying to wrap round that trader development, fund management and property services, which again, the develop, own, manage sort of model is a very key one for the Goodman Group. So that one we will be seeing growth. We've seen tremendous growth in 12 months. We had 0 UK logistics 12 months ago, and therefore, you know, within a year we should be launching a UK logistics fund with the Rosemont assets and indeed some other assets that we purchased. In terms of the property investment business, you know, we continue to look to grow that at every opportunity. I mean, it's relatively stable, but the indirect fund business is a big part of that, and we've seen very strong growth in our client base looking to invest through the indirect route, and we see that as a very, very big growth area over the next 12 months, 2 years.
You've undergone enormous growth over the past 18 months. Do you expect to be able to maintain that in the year or 2 ahead?
The growth of the last 18 months has been about building the platform from 0 people in Europe to 500. So the platform is there in the logistics sector, in the business park sector, and in the property investment business. We've now got our platform. So we continue to look for opportunities for growth and indeed acquisition should they be the right ones. But the platform is there. We're talking about adding things on now rather than starting from scratch. So yes, we will continue to grow, but it will be add-ons rather than something completely different.
Just on that, you have got your 3 distinct business service lines now. You're not expecting to start another one?
No. Those 3 are the 2 property business park and logistics. We're a specialist, we're a market leader hopefully in both sectors, and the property investment business is very much it's a business in its own right, but it also provides the infrastructure and kind of the glue that makes the fund management in the other businesses work as well. So it's a very key part of the thing to have the 3 businesses together, but we don't need to be in another property sector. We're quite comfortable with the ones we're in. We want to be the best, the market leader in the ones we're in, not also rans in some of the others.
Looking at the continent now, where do you expect to see the most growth?
I think let's start with the business park business again. Our European business park business is about taking the expertise that we've got in the UK and over sort of the continental Europe, Eurozone, starting to use that expertise combined with local knowledge. You know, business parks as you see in the Thames Valley. You can't just transplant them, you've got to take advantage and understand local conditions, local partners. So there's a learning curve going on there. We've established that business. It's very early days. There's a relatively new management team, and at the moment we've got three opportunities, three sort of live projects in France, one in Lyon and two around Paris, and we've got one in Barcelona and one in Madrid, and we're very, very close to securing an opportunity in Germany. So I think for the foreseeable future, we see Germany, probably Düsseldorf, Hamburg, Frankfurt and Munich as the key areas. We see obviously Paris is very key to the growth, but there are some strong regional centres that we see a need and a demand for the kind of high quality business parks that we do, and in Spain it's focused around Barcelona and Madrid and maybe Valencia. So those are the three areas that we'll be concentrating on. From a logistics perspective, clearly there's far more growth going on in those key markets, but also in Central Europe as well. So Poland, the Czech Republic and Hungary, we're seeing good growth in those areas. And in terms of the property investment business, we have an operation in Paris and a small operation in Amsterdam. And again, we'd like to see those two expand, probably again, particularly through the indirect route rather than the direct property. Happy to do direct property should that be a client requirement, but more and more I think we see it as indirect that's going to drive that business forward. So I think the UK is kind of stable in terms of where we are, and it's a big business, there's a lot to do, but in terms of sort of growth and above trend growth, I think we see those major markets in continental Europe providing that over the next 2 or 3 years.